expanding in this, and he's feeling very confident about his control. As well he should. His food count right now is maxed, just got maxed to 200 to imbaLoWeLy's 152. Still Zerglings, mostly Zerglings and Infestors. He does have a few Ultralisks on the field right now, and 3 Corruptors it looks like. Oh, I would not engage here. That's a lot of siege tanks. imbaLoWeLy needs to hang back and try to hold off for as long as he can and try to get as big of an army as he can before he engages. He is getting his +3 melee attack right now, and he is morphing those 3 Broodlords. Those are going to help so much if he can just hold until EmpireKas. If he can just stay in position and hope that EmpireKas just holds this mid-ground for just a little longer, imbaLoWeLy might be able to hold this off. Still just 160 food to 200 though, and this is not looking good for imbaLoWeLy. As I said, his 3/3 armor is coming up. The Carapace is not up yet, but he does have the Ultralisk +2 Carapace, so those Ultralisks are going to be able to take a beating from those Marines and siege tanks. imbaLoWeLy moving in with these Broodlords, starting to snipe as many siege tanks as he can, and EmpireKas actually moving back. Those tanks aren't sieged up. He's sieging them up way too late. Oh no, all those... Oh, he does have these siege tanks on the high ground, but I don't think they're going to cut it. That's going to be a lot of Marine deaths down on the ground. Oh my god, look at that food count drop for EmpireKas. imbaLoWeLy is down to 122. EmpireKas is at 146 at the moment, so he's still ahead, but where are all his units? All of that might be in SCVs. The Harvesters count right now. Yes, the SCV count is at 87 to Zerg 60. The Ultralisks are moving in right now to do some damage. This planetary fortress is here though. Oh, takes out 2 Infestors. That is no good. And these Broodlords are moving in on I guess what would be EmpireKas' 4th base. He has so many bases right now. EmpireKas throwing up a bunch of command centers, probably going to turn them into planetary fortresses to defend. These Ultralisks are not doing well against this planetary fortress though, and with the Marine support, I don't think they're going to be able to take it out. Back on the Zerg side of things, this 4th is up, but it's still not saturated. imbaLoWeLy is strictly going for army units at this point. This is all he's producing. We see 9 Ultralisks on the production tab that are going to soon be on the field. EmpireKas has not saturated what I guess, I'm not even sure what to call these bases anymore. He has so many bases. 3 of which aren't saturated though. He's just starting to get this 4th rather saturated. If imbaLoWeLy can get this 4th base up and saturated and maybe take another base, he might be able to keep up with Econ here. It is worth noting now though that the food counts have evened out. EmpireKas has 159 to imbaLoWeLy's 152. Terran just slightly ahead, and we see a drop going down at imbaLoWeLy's 4th. EmpireKas is determined to keep this 4th base down. Oh, it's a double drop. He's going to deal a lot of damage here, but these 9 Ultralisks are going to come in and clean up. Ooh, fungal growths on the medevacs. Oh, they might go down. Oh, and they all get taken out. EmpireKas loses all those, bringing him down in the food count. It is now imbaLoWeLy's 169 food to EmpireKas' 163. imbaLoWeLy has finally taken the lead with that last push. That last push really did it for him, where he took out all those siege tanks while they weren't sieged up. That was an amazing job by imbaLoWeLy there. Because I would now say that imbaLoWeLy might actually be in the lead here. We do see the Zerg Carapace level 3 going up. That is going to make these Ultralisks even beefier and give these Zerglings a little bit more standing up power to those Marines. We see some Corruptors coming out. And we see imbaLoWeLy maybe moving in for an attack. Maybe. Both these players just trying to macro up as hard as they can. We see imbaLoWeLy just struggling to keep up, but EmpireKas' econ is so good. He now has this base saturated and this base saturated, and he's just mass producing at a ridiculous rate. Marines, siege tanks, and Vikings being the bulk of his army, with some medevac, a little bit of medevac support there for his Marines. This is going to be very effective against the Broodlords and Ultralisks. Hopefully, these Ultralisks with this much Carapace, they can take such a huge beating. It looks like Zerg might have stopped producing Broodlords for the moment. We do have a couple Corruptors which could be morphed to Broodlords. But that's not happening at this point. Oh, those siege tanks get barely sieged up in time to repel those Ultralisks. We do see imbaLoWeLy double expanding here to these two forward positions. imbaLoWeLy moving out, just a couple infestors and a lot of Ultralisks moving in. Where are all of EmpireKas' forces? These siege tanks have just been left out in the open. There's not much. They've all been loaded into the medevacs for a drop. Oh no! EmpireKas, your bases! Oh my goodness, this is going to be... He's going to do this drop, and this drop is going to do massive damage, but imbaLoWeLy is just moving in with these Ultralisks. He's going to do some crazy damage here. He's taking out all his tech structures, all his production structures. They are going down. With this many units on the field, I think we're also experiencing some lag. I apologize for that. My graphics settings might be a little too high. A little higher than my computer can handle. This drop is doing massive damage here. Meanwhile, imbaLoWeLy is taking out this Terran base. He's taken down so many barracks already. This is going to be a last-ditch effort, I think, by EmpireKas. He is clearly not trying too hard to defend this attack. Oh, will he be able to hold this choke? I kind of doubt it. Those Ultralisks can just take such a huge beating. imbaLoWeLy now moving into every base now. He's splitting up his Ultralisks to do damage everywhere. This base has been taken out. But EmpireKas manages to hold on to his main. His main is still holding, but he's not doing so well at his expansions. His expansions are taking some heavy damages. Oh, and he's going to lose the command center. He didn't get to repair it. Oh, and they're just now getting all kinds of free kills on those SCVs. Interestingly enough, he loads up that command center and he says, "Peace, guys, I am out." SCV is moving out from this base. I don't know where. There's not many places to run there. Those Ultralisks are coming in and they are going to do massive damage. EmpireKas did manage to take out this expansion though. imbaLoWeLy, despite doing all this damage, is still way behind in the food count. Oh no, and he found the SCVs. Huge damage to those SCVs. EmpireKas is at a whopping 155 food to imbaLoWeLy's 93. He's just got so much money in the bank that he's just able to reproduce so quickly. He's outproducing the Zerg, who is still only running on... Wow, it looks like only one base. imbaLoWeLy is only running on one base at the moment. That drop did manage to take out both his fourth and his third base, so imbaLoWeLy not in a good position right now, as EmpireKas is still mining on 2 bases, and he's establishing a third mining base. And a fourth, excuse me. EmpireKas moving out. There's just so much macro going on by EmpireKas, despite these really good attacks by imbaLoWeLy and catching EmpireKas with his pants down. He just cannot compete with this macro of EmpireKas. EmpireKas just doing ridiculous damage. This looks like this might be a last-ditch defense for imbaLoWeLy, and this hatch is going to go down. I can't see him staying in this game anymore. He has no more mining bases. I would expect a GG here any second now. The food count is 49 to 160. There's not a good chance of being able to hold this off. He gets some last kills in with those fungal growths. But there's still just too much. Those siege tanks are going to be too much to handle. EmpireKas is now moving in to do as much damage as he can to the tech structures of imbaLoWeLy. This is not looking good. And again, his macro, EmpireKas' macro is just absolutely ridiculous. Now mining off of 1, 2, 3, 4, 3.5 bases. Still just barely starting to get in on that fourth mining base, but there's nothing imbaLoWeLy can do. This game is over. There's no more. He has no more mining. This is just the cleanup phase now. I expect a GG here at any time. Any day now. Any day now, Lowy. He just likes to watch his tech structures die. Oh, he's got 3 Broodlords. That's nice. They'll come in. They might be able to take out a Marauder or a Marine or 2. But EmpireKas is moving out with another huge force. He just has so much. Sieging up in the main of imbaLoWeLy. This is just brutal. Just brutal. imbaLoWeLy did an amazing job, had some amazing defenses there despite being down on food a lot of the game. He had a couple of points where he just looked like he was way ahead, but EmpireKas' macro was just way too strong, and in the end EmpireKas' macro just won out. There's nothing that loWeLy can do to stop this ridiculous macro by EmpireKas. Expect a GG here anytime soon. No GG. Gonna go attack with those overlords. That's cool. All right, guys. Well, while they finish up this match, I will just take a second to plug myself. I am a brand new caster to this, guys. I am just starting. My casts are not going to be perfect at this point. I don't expect them to be. I'm trying. There's the GG. imbaLoWeLy has left the game. That is a GG. Please, you guys, subscribe to me. Check me out. I'm going to try to upload some more casts very soon. I hope you guys enjoyed that game. I will see you guys soon. GG.